Hello, my name is Lucas Lee, and today we will be learning about ratios. So the three questions that we will be answering today are: what is a ratio? How do we find ratios? And how do we solve ratios? So first, what is a ratio? A ratio is how many times one number contains another. So an example is 1 to 7. So let's say that there is 7 times less amount of trucks than there are cars. So how do we find ratios? Well, an example is there are twice as many dogs to cats. So we should know that the ratio can be written as dogs to cats is 2 to 1. Because there's twice as many dogs as cats. But also, we can write it as cats to dogs, which is 1 to 2. Okay, so lastly, we'll be learning about how to solve ratios. I've given 3 examples down below that we will look at now. So the first example, there are 15 students in a class. The ratio for girls to boys is 2 to 1. How many boys and girls are there? So we were given the information. There are 15 students in a class, and the ratio is 2 to 1 for girls to boys. So 15 is equal to 2x to 1x. This is in reference to girls to boys. And we have to add these all up together, so that would give us 3x equal to 15. You have to do this because we have to find the total amount and then divide it by 15. So we'll do that, divide by that. X is equal to 5, so 1x is equal to 5. So then for girls, we'd have to multiply it by 2 because there are 2x. So that means we have to do 2 times 5, which will give us 10. And that means their amount of girls is 10. And then for boys, since it's 1, we do 1 times 5, which only gets us 5, doesn't change. So the amount of boys is 5. And if you want to check your work, you can add the amount of girls, 10 plus 5, which gives you 15, and that's how many students there were. And then also, you can set them like that, like a proportion. It's equal to 2 over 1, and that's girls to boys. And this is the same as writing there's twice as many girls to boys. Okay, so the next question. A person leaves $500 for his 3 children. The ratio of the children to first child to third child is 4 to 2. The ratio of the third child to the second child is 1 to 2. How much does each child get? So we learned that there's $500 left amongst the 3 children. The first to third is 4 to 2, and the third to second is 1 to 2. That means there's a total of 500, and the first to third is 4 to 2. The ratio of the third to second is 1 to 2. Since we know that number 2 has twice as much as number 3, we can multiply it by 2. So multiply by 2 here, and that means the ratio here is 4x. And that's number 2. So we would add these all up together, and that would get you 10x. So we do 10x is equal to 500, divided by 10, divided by 10, x is equal to 50. So 1x is equal to 50, but since each child got a certain amount of money, we have to multiply it. And the first child got 4 times as much, so you do 4 times 50 is equal to 200. So the first child got $200. The second child got just as much. So you do 4 times 50 is equal to 200. And that means the second child got 200. And then you do, for the third child, 2 times 50. Because remember, the third to the second, it was a 1 to 2. that means it'd be half, which gets you 100. And that means the third child only gets $100. So these are the answers right here. And to check this, you can add them all up together. You do 200 plus 200 plus 100 is equal to 500. So that means it's all right. And you can check if it's a 4 to 4, if it's multiplied by 50. And these two have to be the same. 1 and 2 have to be the same, which they are here. And number 3 has to be half of 1 and 2, which is 100. So we'll move on to the next question. Number 3. There are a total of 400 animals. The ratio of pigs to chicken is 5 to 2. The ratio of chicken to cows is 2 to 1. How many of each animal are there? So we are given that there are 400 animals, and the ratio of pigs to chickens is 5 to 2. The ratio of chickens to cows is 2 to 1. So we know total is 400, which is, and the ratio of pigs to chicken is 5 to 2. Pigs, chicken, and then the ratio of chicken to cows is 2 to 1. And since these two numbers are the same, this can be put right here, which will be 1. That's for a count. So if we add these all up together, you should get 8x, put x right there. 8x is equal to 400 divided by 8, divided by x equals 50. So 1x is equal to 50, and since the pigs, there's 5 times as much, you would do 5 times 50, 8250. So it means pigs, there are 250 pigs. Chicken, since there's only 2 times, you would multiply 2 times 50, you get 100. And since that is equal to 100, that means the amount of cows, you can subtract it, I guess. You can do 400 minus 250 plus 100 is 350 is equal to 50. Or you can just do 1 times 50, which also gets you 50. And to check if this is all right, you just have to add them all up, which is 250 plus 100 plus 50, which gets you to 400. And that's the total amount of animals that we had. So we know that's the answer: chicken, cows, and pigs. Okay. So just to summarize, what is a ratio? Ratios are basically like proportions. There's a certain number that is greater, that is like a certain times greater. So 1 to 7, if we're looking back, there's 7 times as much. How do we find ratios? We add up all of the amounts of ratios, and then we set them equal to the total amount, and then we divide it and multiply it by the certain amount. And that is all for today. Thank you for listening and watching.